Hello and welcome, my name is John Goatbed and I am the GM for this Storm King's Thunder campaign. We rejoin the group as the trial is completed. The group lick their wounds, celebrate their victories, and make plans for the future.
I just want to imagine it's a cushion that is really plush and really velvety and it has no place in an orc encampment.
And Sammy says, also with Briar's cushion and Marden's napkin, soon you'll have the best team up ever.
Oh wait, I need to add this as well.
And so with that, the orc tribe heads back to their village. And you guys are free to do whatever you wish.
I'm gonna go sleep because I spent a long night bawling out Briar's husband.
Caelynn's.
What? I mean, Caelynn's husband.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I spent the night yelling at an orc, okay? I'm tired.
Briar's married?
No, I never want to be married.
I'm having a great time, guys. This is great.
Can we go get Talon and Yargle?
And
Yep.
And Mordy.
And Fenfix mum.
And Fanbook's mum.
Fenfix mum. More importantly, Fenfix mum.
Definitely more importantly, Fenfix mum.
So you gather up Talon, who has a bandage around his head. And Yaghol, who has just a big bandage around his waist.
Yeah, I just see Talon lounging surrounded by a bunch of orc ladies going, "You ours," and they're all kind of like, "We watched you get that scar."
Talon says his hood doesn't fit him anymore.
Oh. Are you okay?
Her name is Vera?
Yeah.
Sean, that's right, isn't it? Your mum's
Yes,
Vera.
Yes.
Vera Fizzlebang.
Yes.
I'm not liking this silent Talon thing. That's never a good sign.
We're all getting kind of nervous.
Sean, I assume you change back into being a gnome.
After a little while of being all like, "Yay!" to the crowds, I then turn back into it.
And we just fall right on top of you because we're carrying.
As soon as I shrink down, I just give a cough and a load of little rock dust comes out of my mouth.
Maud,
Everyone's just still laying on the floor in the middle of the arena. Stop it, Luna. Still waiting on Luna to come over here.
It's really weird how I can drop the form of an earth elemental with only 36 health left and gain 86 health. Like, just change it.
Caelynn like screams out, "Luna! Come over here, lay with us."
We're all just
Like
lying on the ground.
Yeah, I can't actually physically move right now. I am exhausted,
Yeah,
so you're gonna have
she's
to
low
walk
down over there.
crawl over here. I'm not moving unless somebody comes and picks me up, because I'm good. I'm good.
Maud comes.
come on.
Deuce? Hello.
You lay with us now. Talon,
Come,
come lay with us.
Let's all lay down.
I feel like your
This
husband
one.
might have just molested me.
All the orcs still in the stands like, what the fuck are they doing?
It's a tribal tradition. It's called... Handed to us. Ugh.
It's called Fuck This for a Game of Soldiers.
Oh my goodness.
So, I guess we go drink now.
Ugh.
You don't get to drink. You're a minor.
She's allowed to drink.
And that has stopped me how?
Maud,
Yeah, at this point, she
You
is.
do realise, full well, Luna, that one of us will smuggle her drink anyway.
I promise I'll be sensible.
Caelynn is going to
Please.
Fenthwick's mom comes running and he just dives on top of
Caelyn's just gonna cuddle up to Maud now.
Maud will
At
cuddle
least
back
water
up.
it down, also, it's not too strong.
Oh, I want to draw this now.
Vera will say to you, Luna, yes, honey, we'll make sure she doesn't get too drunk.
I like you.
You got Mama Fizzlebang now.
Oh no. Don't replace Mama Luna, she's doing her best.
No, I'm implying that we now have two Mama.
We have mamas.
Two
We have
mama.
mamas.
Two mama is best mama.
I'm gonna say something to you down into the Discord.
Okay, I will check the Discord.
You just say yes or no. Or maybe
Okay.
later.
Talon needs either a drink or a hug, or both.
All of the above.
Apparently, Barham would be immensely proud of you.
Yes. Oh god, I'd live for the day where those two meet. Oh wait, I can't.
God damn it, my A's are still not working on this laptop.
I should have used Burrow. I should have used Burrow. Stoke.
Later.
Later. God
Me.
Not too much later, but later.
2 minutes and we get off the ground.
When the guy who sweeps the arena just comes around, just starts.
The guy comes out on his Zamboni.
damn it. Don't move. Let's all head back to Waterdeep.
Maud says, Maud will say, we have a tavern in town. We could drink at the camp before you have to go.
Okay.
Sounds like a
You mean
plan.
you're coming with us.
Yeah, okay.
It's to celebrate you not dying.
Both of us not dying.
Let's celebrate all of us not dying.
Yeah.
To anti-death.
Not quite what I said. How about to life continuing?
To anti-death.
Well,
Yeah, you're not gonna win this one.
to most of us not dying.
To not dying today.
To being alive right now.
That's what I said. Anti-death.
I just need a drink.
To the drink hole.
Okay, come with me. And
Yes,
Maud will be the first to stand up and lead you.
I just hold on to boots. Drag me along.
So, Lunar's passed out. She's asleep. So all I see is Mord just sort of throwing her over his shoulder so that they can... She's still part of the group.
Maud helps everybody up who's getting up. And then
Fenthwick will get up because he was. Yeah.
My question is though, guys, who wants to drink the potion? Is this temporarily?
it is a temporary. So it is a potion of frost giant strength.
Which increases your strength to 23, I believe.
Do I have to drink all of the potion? Or do I? Can
Yes,
sip it?
you have to drink the whole potion.
God damn it!
Unfortunately, that's the way the potions.
the wolves.
That's the rules. It changes your strength score for 1 hour, and a frost giant is 23 strength.
Alright, who's strength? Who really wants it though?
Who uses strength in attacks? Don't think any of us do really.
And
No,
so
like,
it's a shame we don't have
Yaghol
Chupa
does.
right now, because
I
Chupa
guess
would
Yaghol.
really...
Yaghol will be the most likely to use strength in his attacks,
Oh, yeah,
Talon-
and
he doesn't
also-
use strength, does he? He uses
and
dexterity.
and Maud as well.
Talon does not use strength, he has dex. Also, as Talon points out in the chat, it has a frost giant's fingernail floating in it.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably give this to Maud.
Do we have to drink the
Happy
fingernail?
anniversary, honey.
Thank you, dear.
What? That no.
And Maud will lead you to a tavern that looks to be one of the more permanent fixtures of the camp.
Of course, they built their tavern first.
They have their priorities.
What would you build first?
You-
Jeez.
I don't know. A school, some farms,
A unicorn farm.
a house.
Unicorn
You know,
house.
I'm not living in a tent.
Everyone lives in the tavern until they're a house.
Yes.
It's not clear whether the tavern has been here longer than the orc encampment and they just kind of settled around it, or if the orcs built it first. But it definitely looks like this is one of the buildings that if the rest of the orc encampment moves somewhere else, this one stays where it is. It's a little bit run down and rough and ready. It's definitely a frontier building. Sean will be right back. She requires an ice lolly, and Maddie has said that she's gone for supper, so keep living.
Yeah.
Also, Scar, yes, that is Luz's shield you can see behind me.
Yeah.
Go back. I'm gonna snack on food, so I feel snacky.
So it's a bit of a rundown building. It's got a sign that's affixed to the front of it that's slightly at an odd angle, and the name of the tavern is the Bumbling Monk. And you push the door open, and there's already a crowd of people inside, and the predominantly orc crowd just falls silent as you all enter and turns and looks at you. And then there's a cheer that goes up. It just ripples through the place.
What? Heroes welcome.
And behind the tavern, you can see a jovial orc who's got a moustache and beard.
Mustache, that's a question.
And
I couldn't resist, I'm sorry.
We're not angry.
we're just disappointed. He's got a big beard and a big moustache, and it's just curled at the edges of the moustache.
So he's an evil bartender.
No, it doesn't look evil.
He has a curly mustache. Everybody knows curly mustaches mean you're evil. It means you're a southern villain and he's about to tie Caelynn to the railroad tracks.
No, he's got the beard as well. The villains don't have the beard bit. And he gives a jovial
Yes,
wave.
they do. They have those weird looking goatee things, don't they?
He gives a jovial wave, and as you get inside, you can see that this is a whereas most orcs tend to be large, muscular people, this orc has enjoyed the finer things in life. Sammy points out that Scar has a goatee. Does that mean Scar is a villain?
Yeah.
I mean, I also have a fabulous
I have
beard.
a moustache that I can make like twirly at the sides.
Yeah, but we already knew you were evil, so there's just no point.
And he just waves you guys inside, and what can I get you all? First round's on me.
What have you got? I've never been to an orc tavern before.
Well,
Sarah only wakes up long enough to go, give the child something light or I will burn this place to the ground. And then she falls back asleep.
fabulous. We have ale.
And ale.
I'm back.
Really strong ale.
And some stronger ale.
Do you have water?
Ale, stronger ale. Water?
Sure. We have water.
Yeah, he'll
Positive.
Talon. He'll have water.
So, just go for regular ales for everyone else.
Yeah.
So a
It's nice to have
water
a light start. Yeah.
and an ale for everyone else. Excellent. He slams his hand down on the table.
I slam my little tiny hand down as well.
Find yourself a... it might be a bit busy in here. Maybe, maybe there's space out in the... outside.
Okay.
Find yourself a table. I'll find where you're sat.
Oh, I kind of like yell out as loud again. Oh, if only the hero.
I did it,
Sorry, you cut out. Only the...
If only the heroes of the arena could find a table.
And instantly a table just...
No, I want to go outside.
We've got a table though. Goes to the table, sits down.
Okay.
I got that table just for you. Don't
Yeah, the overlay one is a little bit out of date because I just don't keep up with Briar's health week to week.
Briar's at 44 right now.
Briar's max health was 50 when I made the overlay graphic.
Yeah. By the way, can this count as a short rest?
Yes.
Thank
Caelynn just
you.
want to spend time. Caelynn just want to spend time.
What's
with Maud.
that? Short rest for us? Okay, I get my beast shapes back.
One more.
Caelynn just want to spend time with Maud.
I'll do.
Maud sits down, happily spending time with you.
Yay!
Aww.
Let's do hit dice.
Hit dice. Hit dice.
I feel guilty I don't have to do it.
I just need to.
No, don't feel guilty that you don't have to do it. Feel guilty that you got yourself killed before you could contribute.
But look, I didn't
No,
roll
it's
all three.
Sean's feeling guilty.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine.
I did
You're
five.
really good. So.
All fives.
All fives.
You can have a short rest with Maud,
Well,
Caelynn. It
well,
would.
I'm numbers.
Who the fuck out of you?
Talon takes his water and goes outside. Well, shit. That's totally not ominous.
Hey, Alan. What's
What's wrong? I guess he wants to be left alone.
You can
I
have
mean,
a
he's-
short rest with Maud, Caelynn.
Ooh woo.
He might still be a bit sore from going down so quickly.
Nick failing.
No, don't say it like that.
He didn't fail, and it was a tough battle. I mean, Yaghol went down as well, and he has healing magic.
Well,
Okay,
yeah, but I
yeah.
blasted him. He probably wouldn't have gone down so easy if I had an accident blasted him.
I know, but I think we just
Friendly
need to-
fire, dearie. Lassie.
Lassie.
No, wait. Yaghol's not so Scottish. Yaghol's not Barm.
Oh, you're trying to be yuck.
I'm not gonna say sweetie.
Sweetie is off the table.
Sweetie's not a thing.
Besides, we tried our best. I think we just kind of underwhelmed how strong they'd be.
Underestimated, sweetheart. Underestimated.
That's what I said.
Said underwhelmed.
President
Don't lie.
asked why Caelynn got with Maud.
Well, obviously, because he's hung like a fucking horse.
Oh yeah.
Well,
There's no denying that, baby.
Maud looks over and smiles.
He's all like, well, I can't deny it.
Also, he's a gentleman as well.
What a gent.
Oh, I know. He let me ball him out the entire night.
Oh no, my custard cream.
Normal people probably would have smacked me after
no.
the first couple hours.
I heard a custard cream emergency!
Throws a custard cream at Amy.
Hey.
Hey, open your mouth and I'll throw it in your mouth.
Ah.
Throws it in your mouth.
Right, I will drinketh my drink.
Okay.
I'm gonna get drunk. Let's go get drunk.
Drink.
Oh,
Amy, could you make me a Constitution saving throw, please?
If I
Son
roll
of
a
a-
nat one, I will actually kill you.
Not much
On the
better.
first one?
Well,
I got
So
15.
Briar counts as poisoned.
Why?
Because I'm drunk.
She is drunk.
Oh god damn it. I told you guys not to let her get drunk.
It wasn't that
fine.
strong.
it wasn't
One
that strong.
job. You had exactly one job. I asked you to do one thing, and you couldn't
They
even
had-
keep getting yourself.
They had the choice out of water, ale, or very strong ale.
And none of you thought to maybe water down the ale you gave the small child? Seriously? Oh,
Why would you put water in ale? That doesn't make
It
sense.
makes it disgusting, and no one ever does it, Brian. Don't you worry, I like smush his cheeks. Don't you worry.
plenty of people do it if they don't want to get sick.
To be honest, I prefer red wine.
Well, I'll have water afterwards then.
I'm gonna have some water now, and then you're gonna go to sleep.
Don't need sleep. I'm fine.
Ow, I just hit myself in the head.
Well, no, when I got drunk, when I first got myself some alcohol, I was just your age, Briar.
Caelynn, you're not helping.
I think I was probably about. I don't know about. No mages are weird.
Oh, no, stop. You guys are a terrible influence on my child. Knock this off.
I asked Maud, like, how old are you?
No,
when you
how
start
old was I when I
drinking?
was first drunk?
How old are you when you start drinking?
I would have been about
3. I'm going
Orc.
to murder
Yeah,
you
I thought
first.
you were gonna say 3.
Orc ages 1 minute.
Cages are weird, right?
Yeah, it's
You are legally an adult, right?
He's legally
I mean,
he's very-
sure. I was old enough by tribal standards.
Here we go. See?
He holds up 10 fingers and then 3 fingers.
You said drunk. Smooches from my Maud.
And Vera
That's it.
Vera will lean over to Fenthwick. You know we didn't let you get drunk until you were at least 20, but you did start to have alcohol from very young.
I know, Mum, but it's like, you know, she's very protective.
People have
She wants a little.
I know.
If Michael was here, I think he would try to say Yago was drinking it young, like 3.
Oh,
Yeah, Cole just played. I was born drunk.
Jacob was just sucking ale at the teat. Everybody knows that.
He was never breastfed. It was just like, you know,
No,
fucking-
his actual
fucking barrel fed.
his mother's breast was actually ale in the boob.
He was
It was
raised
not
by a
milk, it was
Briar,
Yeah.
make me a perception check, please.
A perception check whilst drunk.
That should end well.
Not bad.
Okay. Okay. Oh, no, that's the wrong page.
Okay.
Okay.
Better not fucking be who I think it is.
You know.
Huh.
Which one is it?
Hmm.
Oh.
Okay. Come on. Hello? Hello. Which one am I in?
You're in ours.
Tower.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
There you
Okay. Apparently Discord threw a hissy fit there, and it didn't work out where I was and where you were, and it just kept sending me back over there.
Well then.
Okay. So that's the thing he's doing.
Who the fuck is it?
You look up and you see in the corner of the tavern with a boot up on the table a man with long hair and a beard with just speckles of grey starting to show in the beard and sort of at the temples. A green shirt and a brown cloak. And he's not seen you yet.
But I recognize him.
But you recognize him.
Fuck yeah!
Hello.
I heard that.
You guys see Bryce suddenly, like, look across from you guys, and she just looks suddenly very wide-eyed and kind of, like, realizing something.
Looks to where she's looking.
It looks to where she's looking indeed.
You see a room full of orcs and various other... There are other races amongst the room. But it is predominantly orc. In the corner of the room where Briar is looking, sat at a table on his own, is a man in a green shirt with a brown cape or cloak, and his foot up on the table. He has a beard and long brown hair, but both the beard and the hair are starting to show speckles of grey in the beard and sort of at the temples.
Strider? No.
I was thinking the exact same fucking thing.
Aragorn? The King of Gondor has
Okay.
appeared.
Just kind of leans over to Briar. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us who it is?
Does anyone have any paper?
I would assume I have paper because I've been teaching.
Yeah, you can have paper.
And it's a paper
You got a pen?
and a pen.
She
She
does not know how to spell is now going to show us a note.
she very slowly starts writing down. She just starts writing, and like when she's done, it's still kind of the chicken scratchy writing that you're used to, but it's just a full piece of paper which just says "thank you" on it, and she just gives it to Fenwick, saying, "Can you pass that to him?"
Okay. I hop down off the day when I toggle over. And I hand him the note.
Hi.
And he takes the note and he looks at it. And he looks at you.
Who the fuck are you?
Is this from you?
Are you implying that I can't write?
Well, who's this from?
From her, and points to Briar.
Pretty sure
And-
the entire reason she gave you the note to give to him is so that you didn't tell him who it was from because she was feeling.
She's shy.
Yeah, she's shut.
And Briar, he looks up directly at you, and there's just a moment of, like, thought going on in his head, and then the recognition kicks in. And he folds the note, and again, and just slips it into a pocket.
Wave at him awkwardly.
He will wave and nod back to you.
I watch this horrifically awkward exchange. This is, I just kind of turn to him. Do you want a drink?
Yes.
Do you want to come to our table and drink? Or do you just want me to get you a drink? Because I have a feeling I need to thank you for stuff, but I don't know what it is.
I will come and sit with you for a while.
Great! I lead him over to our table.
And he will get up, and he will, from beside the table, pull up a bag, and he's got a bow and arrow, and he just walks over and places them down and takes a seat next to or as close to Briar as he can.
Briar's just really lucky. He's just really lucky that Briar wrote thank you and didn't try to draw something, because if she'd written anything that even come close to starting with S, she'd have thrown down. Lunar was so ready to be all like, okay.
I just look very kind of sheepish, but like quite happy as well.
Who are you?
So, this is a friend of Briar.
What's your name? Because I'm curious.
My name?
And what's your relationship with the small child?
My name is Arthur.
I lean over to Arthur immediately and just say,
Are you related to
Luna, she
Usa?
assumes that everyone is trying to do young people.
Are you related to Usa? No, I'm joking.
No. My name is Arthur Solomon.
Solomon.
And to answer your question, sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I am Caelynn.
And the
one who asked you about your relationship with her is Luna.
a few years ago, and he turns to look at you, Briar. Would that have been 3, 4 years?
3.
3 years ago, I was travelling through Xanthal's Keep, and I saw a homeless girl on the streets, skin and bones, and I gave her an apple and a bow and arrow, and I taught her how to hunt. And from the looks of it, you've done good, girl.
I still have the bow.
And you can still hunt,
Yeah.
and you made some friends.
Yeah.
We're just terrible influence. No, don't worry, we're fine.
Excellent. Keep the bow.
Are you sure?
I have another.
Well, I know, it's just
I can't use 2 at the same time.
yeah.
That would be awesome, though.
It would be.
But I have to pay you back somehow. It's just like, I mean, it's been 3 years, and I was hoping I could see you again, because I thought, well, I never gave you anything back. Would you like something?
He pats his pocket. You've given me enough.
I look at what pocket he's just patted.
I know. Lunar's sort of looking at him like, bitch.
The pocket that he put the note into.
Okay. Where's that pocket?
It's a breast
I was
pocket.
hoping it was like his coin purse and he like bet on us to win.
He's sitting there like, don't worry, you've patted my pockets well.
But yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a good 3 years to say the least.
Good. I'm glad you've managed to do so well.
Just smiles the cheeky grin at him.
He smiles back and it's warm.
I turn around to the bar. Another round of drinks!
Yeah, I need to get drunk this time. Let's see if we can try and drink
Yeah,
again.
this is probably the most awkward thing I've ever been involved in. I'll take a drink too, actually.
And-
I'm gonna do another. I'm not.
And the barkeeper brings over another round of drinks, and anybody who drinks can make a constitution save if they think they should.
I'll just have a water this time.
Yeah, I said one water.
Yeah. I'm just happy to see him.
12 again, I think?
Yeah, 12 again.
What about Maud? Let's see if he gets.
Oh, let's see how Maud does. Where's me Maud?
Where is my lord?
Me mood.
Where's the husband?
Maud is
Mood.
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 He's fine.
He was raised on this.
Yeah, this is his home tavern.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a bit like rougher, but it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, if you want rougher, you should come in at the weekends.
Oh.
Ooh.
I
I
think
meant the ale, but you know.
I think
Oh,
we'll
then
pass
that's
on
the strong stuff.
Sorry. No one hear that? Good. Cool. No one hear that. Shh.
that.
Totally heard it. Whatever it was, I don't know what it is.
So
I made a sexual joke.
why don't we tell some stories?
Well, in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
What's Philadelphia?
I don't. It's a town far, far away.
You guys were all talking about getting drunk before. I can tell you the first time I got drunk.
It's not.
Was it the first night you met us?
No. It was a year beforehand, and the tavern I met you guys at. Some people had left outside, and they'd left their drinks half, empty. So I was thirsty, so I finished them off, and then I turned and I realized at one of the tables there was a lute that was leaning against it, and no one was there. So I kind of just snatched it up and ran off, and I tried playing it. And then when I went to return it, I dropped it, and then the owner saw me and she got really mad at me, but it was really funny.
Aw.
Well, I'm sure she wasn't a very good bard anyway.
Well, I don't know, I
Especially
never heard
worst
her play.
influence on this child. Oh my god.
It was a year ago. I'm a changed girl.
Yeah.
Girl.
Well, I can't quite remember my first time. It's been a very long time. But, I mean, I did have a time when I managed to start an entire bar fight.
Oh?
I didn't take part in it, but I managed to start one.
Weaker.
Well, I got, you see, I got completely shit-faced, and I got up on one of the tables and started dancing, and
So like last week then.
and I kicked one guy's ale into his face, and turns out it was Big Ted, and you didn't want to mess with Big Ted, and he kind of went to grab me, but he went to punch me, but managed to punch the guy near him, and then that guy punched, and I managed to just quickly slip out, but it wasn't a very nice thing.
Doesn't sound like it.
From the sidelines, it was hilarious, but
I love it.
First time I got drunk. Yes, it was about 5 years ago. No, actually more than that.
Wow.
Almost 15 now. And
Wow,
I
you're
first
old.
found out that my father was selling small children. So I went in and drank his entire liquor cabinet. But because he loved.
This is
one
on.
thing.
I guess that's one way.
Well, it wasn't as if I could go and stop them. I was a young child at the time.
Vera will lean.
Okay, wait a minute. How old were you? How old were you when you did this?
Young enough to think it was a good idea?
Ballpark what age?
Age is irrelevant. The important thing was...
I think it's kind of relevant.
I was old enough.
Like, single digit or double digit?
I plead the fifth.
Hold on. Tell me everything.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Luna, roll me a deception check.
Is it really deception if I plead the fifth? I'm not necessarily lying. I am
You're
just
withholding
talking.
information.
Yeah.
You get the feeling, Sean, that she is not telling her age because of a reason that it would conflict with previous stories she has mentioned.
Huh.
What?
AKA.
Her displeasure at certain other characters drinking.
Yeah, a certain other characters drinking underaged would be this information.
Oh!
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to give kind of just a smug little grin.
Oh my god, what the fuck? I remember when I was drunk, I think me and my friends showed each other boobs. One of them was screeching at my other because showing boobs to each other was weird.
Does that remind you of anything, guys?
Yes, it does.
Oh my god, that was a while ago.
That is something.
Vera will lean.
Hang on, so he ponders for a minute. So that's what that screeching was all about.
I mean, it was
Honestly,
fun.
it was all about Lou. She was just making so much of a fuss, and she was like, "Oh, come on, it's no
No,
big deal."
Well, the whole reason the boob thing even started was because Luz was making a fuss about the fact that we'd all seen her naked. And then Caelynn tried to make her feel better by going, well, you guys have seen me naked too. And Luz was like, but that doesn't count. And I was all like, God damn, fine. They're just boobs. And so,
Oh my god, Lou's had the hots for her at the time.
She did! She never knew she was married either!
Vera will lean forward at the table. You've all led very interesting lives, but I could tell you some great stories about Fenthwick when he was a child.
but
Oh.
I mean, he used to do all sorts of alchemical experiments in the shed.
Oh, is that
I don't know what you're talking about, turns. I sipped drink.
so? The rainbow hair thing, basically.
Yeah, that was one summer of experiments that went horribly wrong. I mean, there was the one time that he burnt the shed down. There was another time that he just spread an acid. That was it, wasn't it, Fenthwick?
It may or may not have been an acid.
Spread an acid all over the shed, and it stunk the place out, and we had to just burn all the clothes he was wearing at the time before we let him back in the house.
Well,
Still remember me and Maud getting drunk one point.
I
Crashed
was-
their room.
oh.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but we trashed our my mother's room. The bed.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my god!
I thought this is just descended into just telling random stories.
I
She was
just looked,
mad at us for weeks.
I just looked at Arthur and I'm just like, anything you want to throw in?
You wanna throw a green drink?
Looked at him expectantly.
I remember one time I was travelling through... Where was it? Near Fandalen. Just north. Thunder Tree region. About a year or so ago. And...
Saw this pissed off looking dragon holding a rotten apple.
What are you trying to say?
And I got the best apple from a little orchard there that just seemed to be a naturally growing orchard.
Oh.
Cool.
And you did that whilst you were drunk.
Oh, I don't really drink that much.
Did you go drinking afterwards?
Probably eventually.
It's interesting. I remember when we met Yarkol for the first time. He was drunk off his head.
And I still am.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they were changed.
Fucking Scar. Was there a dwarf trying to rub with all the apples and a tiefling trying to rub the orchard itself?
Amazing.
No, different orchard.
It's weird. Then this black-skinned tiefling came onto me. It was weird.
Oh god.
Well,
This
suddenly the council
is
start
what-
talking. Oh wait, that's not far back yet. That's way too soon.
Oh,
No, different orchard to that as well, Sean.
I do have a story about the first time that I got drunk as a unicorn. I expect-
Unicorns can get drunk?
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Even
Anything.
dragons.
Drunk if you try hard enough.
Vera leans forward. Of course they can. I've had some
oh.
great drinks with unicorns.
Do you believe it was with a gnome? Of course, this was
Oh god, this ring.
quite a few centuries ago, so I highly doubt
That's
it was
probably
with
not me.
God. We were traveling north. What was it? He was trying to find some sort of ice crystal something or another. I wasn't particularly interested. He was just a funny person with funny stories, so I decided to follow him for a little while. And one night we're sitting around the campfire, and I was so curious about this thing that he kept drinking out of. And so I asked him if I could have a little. So he poured some into a bowl and let me drink some. And I remember at some point I woke up with his pants on my horn. It was this whole thing about a tree, and he said something about how plants do it better. But I wasn't really sure what he was talking about, and I still haven't quite figured out what he meant. But he did say he had to admit that grapevines were probably his favorite. And
Did you book him as a unicorn?
no.
Okay.
That sounds...
Possibly used to animate object on a plant.
Oh. Well, that sounds like an experience.
Well, I mean, if that's what floats his boat, I wasn't going to argue. I had absolutely no interest at the time, and can't say I have any particular interest now, but it was fascinating and really interesting to learn that much about human anatomy. Gnome anatomy. Yeah, it was interesting. Mostly I was just annoyed that he dumped his dirty pants on my horn, so
I mean, I would be too.
I tried to stab him with it, but that was kind of an accident, so I was still tipsy and I tripped.
Maud roars with laughter.
Oh god, that's brilliant.
Fucking unicorn just stumbling around.
Alright,
Reminds me of that really weird James Baxter animation from Adventure Time. James Baxter! Sorry.
right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna see if Talon's alright. He's been out for quite a while.
Fair enough. We'll get to know your friend more.
Sure, he's just busy macking on hot orc chicks.
all
Caelynn
that.
is feeling, well, cuddly to more than probably my sleep.
Aww.
I'd love it if you got out there and it's just Talons just leant on a table going, so you girls are twins, huh?
Maud will slam down the empty tankard and just be like, Caelynn, do you want to head back to the tent?
Yes.
Yes, no, Caelynn.
Very much news to know.
I promise I won't animate any plants to do it tonight.
If you want any animated plants, I can try.
No.
That's fine, little man. We've got this handled.
I'm done.
And Maud will fully kiss Caelynn.
Smudges.
Ooh.
Smudge back inside. Because I'm dark.
Brian just awkwardly shuffles out.
Oh, that
Leave the hell in the
reminds
tent.
me.
Leave the hell in the tent.
Maud Maud will pretty much drag Caelynn out of the bar at this point.
His bridle's like pick her up bridal style.
Pretty
Wait,
much.
married?
Oh, you're married?
Yes, apparently so.
You know, I was always curious what kissing was like.
You want to give it a go?
Shuffles over to Fenthwick and grabs his face and tries to.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Mommy and Daddy are kissing.
Fenthwick, do you resist?
Right. What? Not impressed.
Just don't know what all the fuss is about.
Are you resisting or you're not resisting?
He ain't.
Did Fenthwick
Climbs
have
on the table, grabs her and kisses back. And
I
tries
see that.
to be as passionate as possible.
And
I-
doves just float round the two of you.
No. It's the size
Ah.
difference.
Unicorns are fussy. Goes and sits down.
And as you do, the doves just evaporate.
Just, guys, just head off. Just like disappear.
God,
And-
Brian's
This
just
is
like
when
gobsmacked.
Fenthwick has been invented. Hey, let's roll a performance check on Maud and Caelynn.
I'm drawing that.
Do
I'm
it.
drawing that.
18. Let's see how bad Maud goes.
1 minute.
I'd love it if you got a natural 20. Please, natural 20. Please, a natural 20.
I'm just gonna reload the page real quick.
If you gotta
Never.
predict this, Sean, I'm gonna scream.
Natural 1. Aw, Mort can't get it up.
Ah, not much better though.
Do it again. I'll let you re-roll.
Oh, round 2, is it?
Sure, why not?
That's okay.
Holy
better.
shit!
Adequate. The second round was adequate.
Try to beat that one. 21.
Well,
Try and beat that one, Maud.
right.
We can't.
Bryce,
Anyway,
Right.
Brian and Talon are now doing.
probably kissing as well at this point.
No!
Bound to go wow wow.
Jeff!
No. Jeff!
Maybe you should become. No, joking. Don't be part of the system. Oh.
Come on.
Briar walks out of the tavern, Jeff. Does she find Talon? Jeff, you appear to be underwater again.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
Oh, hi, there you are.
Hey.
What are you doing out here?
Being emo, obviously.
I just wanted to be alone for a bit. It's been a long couple of days.
I know, but I thought.
Well, he did just brutally murder his wife. He might
Yeah.
be feeling a little depressed.
Yeah, so far it's my wife and my oldest friend, so...
Yeah, it's not been the best of weeks.
A little bit of depression there.
I'm going to mute so that you can have your.
Thank you.
I'm gonna mute as well.
Well, I mean, you can come in for a bit. I just bumped into. Do you remember when I told you about that guy who gave me the bow?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What's he
just,
like?
hasn't changed at all. You doing good with your bow?
Yeah, I think I am, yeah.
Good. You remembering the steps?
I'm remembering steps, yep, you taught me well.
I hope. But do you want to talk about anything?
Not just yet.
You sure?
Just need to get my head together a bit.
Hmm. In which case, maybe it's best you don't go in. They're all kissing each other right now.
I'm glad it worked out for them at least. Well, where are we going to next, do you know? Any ideas? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I was around here this way once, many years ago.
Oh?
Did I ever tell you how I met Fenthwick?
No.
I've been kidnapped by this cult and I was rescued by this group of adventurers.
Yeah.
Similar to those two guys we met the other week who helped us out against Padrona, they were part of that group.
The tieflings.
Yeah, they were part of that group. And after that I headed into Red Larch and yeah, I rolled up into the bar there and there was a gnome there with multicoloured hair. That's how I met Fenthwick.
Wait, when was this?
Quickly check some notes. Would have been about 2 or 3 years ago.
Just under 2.
Just under 2, yep.
Oh, in Red Lodge.
Yeah. Wait, didn't you say you were from Red Lodge?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't have been there 2 years ago.
Hmm. It's a nice place. I wouldn't mind going back there someday.
Well, from what I can remember, yeah. I don't know if my family's there still or not. I mean, they might have moved on since.
Could go and find out. Some of them must remember them.
We could, but
You could always ask a certain scry.
I just
Yeah, and just completely forget about the fact that you know that your dad isn't there because the last time you heard about him, you found out he was in the dungeon, so like obviously he's not there.
Well, we could, but it's just we've had so many distractions already from like, you know, the giant mission thing. I don't want to tie you guys down even more.
Oh yeah, giants are still a thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we met one of those.
Probably a good thing.
Okay, I'll come back in for a bit.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
grabs you by the hand and pulls you back in. Are you enjoying the lip to lip?
I've given up on that.
Oh.
Why is everybody looking so red?
It was very, hold on. How do I speak again? Oh yes, I was... The way to speak that requires lips and lungs, and I have forgotten how to do it. There is... Yes, I'm very unimpressed with this whole kissing concept. I've kissed everyone at this table.
Including my mum.
Including Fenthwick's mother, and she's very, very enthusiastic. But where was I going with? Oh yes, I really don't understand this obsession with physical intimacy. I mean, it's just smashing the faces together. Earth, would it be so appealing? And worse, you people do this naked? Why
Oh,
would
yeah.
you want to do that naked?
Can I grab Bri by the hood?
It just sounds so...
You can attempt to, yes.
What would that be? Are we
Can I
grappling?
stealth?
Yeah, sure. Make a stealth roll, Briar.
Well then.
So no, you can't.
I just trip as I go.
And I just like reach out a hand out and try and grab her by the hood.
But... Oh, that's an idea. Talon,
Yes.
Oh.
have you ever kissed a unicorn?
Yes, about the other day when you tried to distract.
But what?
Oh
When
yeah.
I took that love potion, yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I genuinely forgot about that.
You weren't very good at it either. Huh.
Well, I haven't had much chance to practice.
Well, that's mean.
No, I haven't.
I personally think I'm pretty good, but apparently.
I've never done it.
Come here, Briar.
Run off to try and say.
grabs Brian and pulls her back.
Now, I've never done it. Now, my brother Jonquil, I remember he was seeing this, like, really weird girl, and she had this really big chest, and she was really annoying, but he wouldn't stop following her everywhere. And they would kiss all the time, and it was disgusting.
Question: did she wear a very little clothing and kind of ask him to buy things or ask him to pay for things for her?
I don't know, but it was just a case of, like, I mean, it might have, because whenever Jonquil came home from, like, because he got a job near to when I left, so he'd come back with half the money sometimes, and he'd always say that he'd been hanging out with her, so,
Ah. Oh, she has a unique career.
Oh?
So,
I think she's implying that she was a prostitute.
What's a prostitute?
A woman
Somebody-
who has sex for money.
Oh!
I just realised I've been mute the whole time. I forgot to take the mute off.
I wasn't going to say it like that. I was just going to say that he paid for her personalized services.
Did she have a name?
I have no idea. I cannot remember.